Additionally, I overheard some people sitting at the bench outside, and I stopped to talk to them. They were talking about the bus, and there were two ladies there and a gentleman. The two ladies were from Madison, Sally Ames and her sister Elizabeth Graves, and they were absolutely in awe that we had something. They were so happy about it. They feel that it's a godsend to them, that they could not afford to get where they had to go by taxi cab before this, and that this has been absolutely wonderful for them. I don't know how this reflects upon all people, but certainly these people thought it was good. There was a gentleman there who agreed with them. He did not give me his name, but I just wanted you to know from the people who are speaking, they felt that this was very important to them and it should be continued.
Yes, Representative Babson, McConkey, and McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm not sure that there aren't a lot of people, Commissioner Solomon, that believe that the transit system or some sort of transit system is needed in this county, but when you start paying $28 and $29 a trip, which were the last figures, somebody that came in here said there were 248 trips in 9 months, and a trip isn't me going up and getting my groceries and coming back. That's 2 trips. And I think that we ought to hold back and wait and see if this. I see the buses every morning going down to Concord, and they stop in the same coffee shop and they're empty. And I'm sure it's going to take time for them to get going, but there must be a better way. We'd probably be better paying for the taxi as it is. The other thought I have is, I don't know about this year, but last year Conway didn't pay anything, and why should county money be taken from others to pay for the service in Conway, who gets the most use out of the system?
Okay, Representative McConkey, McCarthy, Chandler, and then Commissioner Solomon.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Perhaps a little more of a response is warranted. There are 2 services being run. The service that we're talking about funding, which is separate from the service that referring to going to the towns and asking for monies, is a service that starts at the hospital in Wolfboro, passes through West Ossipee, and then can connect to the hospital in North Conway. It also passes from, you can make that exchange in West Ossipee again and connect twice a day to Laconia. It was an effort of 20-plus years to get to this point because we're the only county that doesn't have a fixed route. We finally got to this point. Now, there's an awful lot of people there, unlike you and I. When your car broke down, you had an extra car you could grab and go. I'm the same one. I could choose from 3 cars most days. This is for people that don't have an option right now. This is getting people to and from the hospitals. This is an opportunity to get some people from one place to employment that don't have that opportunity right now. I agree that to throw $15,000 into this is not the money best spent, but I believe that we have the opportunity to fund part of this, which is the stipend of $5,000. The buses are paid for. If we get down next year and the numbers look as grim as they do right now, but they're growing, if the numbers look dim and it's that far upside down, I'll be the first person to pull all funding from this. We're only asking for $5,000. This is a good service that we need to try, and if it doesn't work going forward, I'll pull all of my support. I'm hoping that you'll hang in there for $5,000.
Okay, Representative McCarthy, Chandler, and Fleck.
I'd like to go a little bit deeper into this. To buy those buses, I know the federal government bought them the first time. It cost $450,000. They will last between 3 and 4 years. At the end of the 3rd or the 4th year, who's going to have to pay the $450,000 for the next set of buses? Also, to run those buses, it costs $250,000 a year just to operate them. Now, at $250,000 a year, it would take 90 8,000 rides to and from at $2.50 per ride just to break even, with no money put aside to buy new buses or anything else. So if there was a reason to do this, without throwing money down the drain, I'd be all for it, but it's just not there. One of the counties, the county with the highest number of rides right now, was 34,000 in a year. We need 90,000 rides just to break even. It's a waste.
Representative Chandler?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have some of those concerns. My biggest concern is, once again, an agency, or whatever you may call them, going to the towns in the county, which is a practice we stopped a number of years ago. Now, we can talk about this as too, it's fixed ride and, what's the other thing? I don't know.
Let's try.
But it's run by the same people. It's the same buses, it's the same people doing the same
No,
thing.
it's not the same buses.
Well, it's the same people. And it'd be like the extension service breaking out one of the two of the three things that they might do and go to the towns for funding. I mean, they go one place or the other, in my opinion. They've chosen to go both places, and I just think that's wrong.
Okay, Representative Fleck, and then we'll have Commissioner Solomon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. My sentiments pretty much echo those that Representative Babson made early on. And that is that I pull into places and I see the buses come in, they're empty when they pull away. What Representative McCarthy said is exactly correct. We have to replace those buses at some point. But Representative Babson made a point that I have thought about, and I've seen it in other places where they've had to think about these issues. We may be very well better off to pay people through a voucher or something else what it takes to transport them from one place to another, rather than make the size investment that we have to make and try to meet these ongoing expenses of maintaining and operating these buses. So I think there may be at least one other way to do it. I'm not against doing something for people who cannot move around, but this may be a lot more than we really have to do, and there are other options out there.
Commissioner Solomon.
This monies that they're asking for is not to cover everything, and we understand that it's never going to cover everything. That the monies, much of the monies will still have to come from advertising by companies, by businesses outside of in the county, but outside of the project. I think it was Representative Merrow who said that there is not a public service that we have in the country that operates on without help from government in some aspect. And there are people here. You're always talking about the poor people who live here. Well, this is helping the poor people who live in these communities. That's what they need.
Okay, Representative Merrow, McConkey, and Chandler. Let's.
I think I'm gonna go, I agree with all comments I've heard here, but I certainly know that the thing will never be profitable, and you'll never make it up by advertising and or any other way, and there's not a public transport system in the country, Amtrak or anything else, that doesn't need a lot of major government subsidies. It's just a fact. On the other hand, I think it really boils down to, do we want to help some of these people or don't we? That's really what it boils down to. I'm willing to go with Mark on 1 year, because everything is startup and it takes a lot of startup costs. But I'm also going to agree with Mark and Joe and everybody else that after a year's period, if this thing isn't going, can it?
Okay.
I'd invest it.
Save your money, it ain't going.
Representative McConkey and Chandler.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Comment from the Retired Senior Volunteer Program from Denny was that one of the reasons that they didn't have to ask us for more money was because of the start and the establishment of these 2 bus routes. That it's harder and harder for her to get people to come out and spend their time and, quite honestly, lots of times their gas money to transport these people. She was one of the great supporters of getting this going forward. And one of the reasons she was able to come back and feel comfortable about level funding at $40,000 is because she sees the importance and the value of connecting people to these buses and getting them where they need to go. So I wanted to offer that back. So, you know, there in one instance, there are two programs that are working in conjunction and well worthy of $5,000.
Representative Chandler.
No, I'm all set, vote.
Okay.
Representative
Representative Pettingill.
I was wondering, we have senior buses, I know in the North Country, I don't know if you have senior buses available through the Gibson Center, we have senior buses available, and they do a lot of transporting. I just need to make this statement. When I was on my way to work the other night, it was St. Patrick's Day, and the Blue Loon bus was parked at the Shenandoah Pub for St. Patrick's Day at 5 o'clock at night. Now, I think for a taxpayer to see the Blue Loon bus parked at the Shenandoah Pub on St. Patty's Day is just, I know I was outraged. I don't know why it was there. I don't want to know why it was there. But I think that this is the stuff that people don't want to see. And it's just, I don't know, that's the end of my statement.
It's not your pub, is it? It's not program.
Yeah, that's the good pub. Representative McConkey and then Trevisan.
Thank you. I do know, and I don't know the circumstances here, but I do know that groups have hired the Blue Loon for transport. And I know that one of the senior groups is hiring a bus for a Saturday trip to go down to Rochester. So I will say, I'm hoping he wasn't partaking of a pint, but there is a possibility that it could have been a clean trip.
Okay, Representative Trevisan.
Just that in Madison, for example, we get a ride to anybody who needs a ride. If they need to go to the hospital, if they need to go to Hannaford's to grocery shop or visit a relative, they get a ride. There's a lady in Madison, Barbara, everybody knows her. They call her up. She has volunteers who help deliver rides. And if they don't know her or don't remember her number, they can call the church, and the church will put somebody in touch with her. So anybody in Madison, just on our own, as volunteers, can get a ride to wherever they need to go. And that's the way to solve problems at a local level, is to do it through community. Know your neighbors, know your relatives. And here we are. The federal government has dangled this, how much is it, several $100,000 buses, and said, here, take these. But as the representatives on the other side of the table pointed out, in a few years, the taxpayers here are going to be required to replace them. So I will not be supporting.
Question?
Yes, Representative McConkey. You have a question? Oh,
No, I
call
want to
the
move the question.
Move the question. I was going to say, yes, go ahead. Okay, all those in favor of moving the question, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, there's a motion by Representative Chandler, second by Representative McCarthy, to approve the regional appropriations as printed. And that, in essence, means that there is nothing there for Carroll County Transit. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. 9 in favor. Those opposed? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Do we get 12 of us here? Yes. Okay. So the motion carries. Capital reserves, we don't have to do anything. Carroll County Convention. I do believe that we should, under secretary expense, increase the amount. Our recording secretaries that are taking minutes have been being paid $100 in mileage for I don't know how long, and our minutes are getting to be more and more and more complicated. Yes, it take a lot. So, Representative Babson.
I have a point of order, Madam Chairman. Can we go back to capital reserves? Where is the money that the cooperative extension has given to the county and not recorded here? Is it somewhere else?
We don't show capital reserves because we haven't spent any money out of those accounts. So we don't show it in a budget.
You don't show what
We can-
we've turned back the last
We
3
can
years?
have the balance for you next week if you want. The only time we show capital expenditures is when we spend the money.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, I would hope that we would, has anybody got any idea? I think it would be a good idea to at least increase that $1,000, perhaps to $3,000, just so that what we can do is keep people that will do our minutes. It is getting to be at least 10, if not 15 or 20 hours to get to what, to try to record what we do.
15 hours?
Yeah, there's a lot of hours that go into that.
13, 15.
So, what do you think, yes or no?
Would you just repeat?
I would just ask that we increase the secretary expense by 2,000 and put it up to 3,000. I don't know what that means. It all depends on how long we talk and how many pages there are.
Considering we lose everybody because we have it, I think I'd vote for it.
Okay. Would you make that a
I
motion?
would make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion by Representative Merrill, seconded by Representative Fleck to increase the 029 secretary expense to 3,000. Any further? Yes, Representative Babson?
Maybe we should have heeded former Commissioner Webster's advice and not made him so long, so detailed, or so accurate.
Kathy?
That's a quote.
I hate to ask the question, but the amount, are you changing the meeting fee amount?
At the moment, I don't know what we would be able to
Okay, 'cause
do.
right now it's $100.
It's $100 plus mileage, and
Per
I don't
minute.
think that that's adequate. And if we increase it, then we'll look at it and figure out what to do with it.
So you'll tell
Some
us
of our
later.
secretaries have been doing verbatim, we don't need that. However, it's very difficult to try to follow us, as
But
much
I mean,
as we
just
try
don't
to
go
be
paper
focused.
first. I will know how
We'll
much
figure it
that
out.
will be.
Yeah. So I will try to,
What was that, the hundreds?
what?
What you just talking about, I didn't catch it. I didn't hear a question.
Okay, what happens is right now, the fee is at $100 per meeting. And that really is, I did that when I started 18 years ago. And I think that what we need to do is come up with a payment schedule and change it. But if we add $2,000 to it, perhaps we can come up, whether it's gonna be $200 or $300 per whatever, but I don't know right now. I have a list of how much it took Janice to do it, but she was also pretty much doing a verbatim, and I think our other ones, I think Robin does them almost verbatim, so we need to be able to come up to the point and not have them that close, but we have to work with the secretaries. Yes, Representative McConkey.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Having run several committees, as I'm sure you have, I think direction's needed for our secretary as to what we're looking to have recorded. And a summary, I think, is more than sufficient, and something that meets the RSA's, but the level of detail doesn't need to be there. I disagree with the statement made by Representative Babson and the tone of his statement for someone that gave so much time for so long here. I think it's the direction of the chairman to make sure that we're recording what needs to be recorded. I would hope we're not talking about an increase in salary at all. I think $2,000 is probably too much. I'll vote against.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion by Representative Fleck, Marrow, seconded by Representative Fleck, to increase it to that line 029 to 3,000. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Okay, raise your hands for yes or no. Yeah, all those in favor, say aye.
I can help you.
How do I do that?
3,
2, 3,
4, 5, and
Is this yes first?
against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Six,
7.
seven.
Do you wanna,
Now,
you're
can
gonna, would you make a motion?
proposal?
Yes.
No, it's not a motion.
Yeah, a
Since we are
proposal.
gonna have to come back again, can you just
Figure
figure out
out.
what you think you might want? Because I'll say, we're now almost all done the year. We only got one more meeting and then a couple quarterly meetings. So you don't need all the money you think you need, even if you want to give them a substantial raise, because next year was when the meetings really start again. What'll you have, 4 more meetings?
I don't
I
have a
mean-
clue, depends on what we
Well,
do.
generally, I mean, 5 at the most, maybe even 4 more. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is if we sat down and come up with
Yeah.
a proposal, then maybe it would get a little different reaction perhaps.
Okay, that's good.
You normally have 5 a year,
We
Normally.
normally have 5 a year, but we
but
haven't
then you
been
get
doing,
into
we haven't
these
been doing
kinds.
subcommittees, but we have, as we came in fall, we had more meetings this year than we've ever had, so. Okay, so there's a 12,151 for the county convention. Is there a motion? Or do we want to put this on hold until we figure it out?
Right. Yeah,
Put this one on hold till the 26th. Capital expenditures, it is, the bottom line is 34,495. Any questions? Any motion? Let's just do this so that we can at least finish the,
I'll move it.
Representative Merrill moves 34,495. Your second?
Second.
Second by Representative Fleck. All those in favor for 34,495, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, for the annex, the electrical expense, for what's going down at total of 30,000. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Representative Babson?
We've now had, 3 months' experience with the electric bill there? Is it roughly $1,000 a month in the shutdown condition?
I don't know if the commissioners know the answer to that.
I don't know either. We've had workmen over there doing work that normally are not there. I don't know what to tell you. We can look at it for 3 months and see what it is.
Or if you just wanted, would you just like to do the 30,000, or what do you want to do with it?
So moved.
There's a motion by Representative Chandler to do for 9,500 for 30,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative McCarthy. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, we have things put on hold. We will be doing the enterprise fund, the sheriff's department, the dispatch, and perhaps the convention. And then we will be doing revenues next week. We'll be here at 9 o'clock. Have a good week. See you later. Oh, no, I didn't ask for public comments, I'm sorry. Public input?
We're not doing the nursing home?
No, at 2:30, everybody's, Joe has to leave.
I believed you, Madam Chairman, when you said we're staying until we're done.
Do you want to do it? We still have a quorum.
You're already coming back next week.
Do you?
Why don't we do it? Because, I mean, how long will we have to go next week? I mean, if there's a lot of us here,
I think you have most of the members today here.
We kept the nursing home.
Okay, if the
Yeah.
ones I know that have to leave, Representative Fleck, Chandler, and Merrill, and we'll
Sounds like
just
I
go
have a chance
through. We will not do it in convention, we'll do the nursing home. So let's go through it.
Who's gonna reduce the budget 10% when we're all done if you leave next week?
We're not gonna do we won't go into convention.
Shouldn't we have time to go through the new contract? I mean, the contract should make a big difference.
We're gonna come back on Monday. And
Really?
we have to do the sheriff's department, which is what we've got the contract for. We have to do the dispatch, which I don't think we have, the dispatch is covered in the contract. So we're not doing anything with those today.
And the contract
The
is
sheriff
in the
doesn't
nursing
have a
home
new
budget.
contract. It's
Just
the
get a
nursing home
contract.
has
The
a new
nursing
contract.
What do you want to do? Do you want to stay or you want to go?
We're going to have a contract
Lot of
next
people
week.
like
and
to
we'll
know.
take a look at
You
it.
better go.
I'm going to make a, can I make?
You got everybody here.
I'm going to make a recommendation that if the nursing home contract is an important part of this, We need time to look at it. Let's look at it and bring the whole thing up next week.
Exactly, that's what I
Okay.
said, yeah.
So don't believe me when I tell you how long we're gonna be, so we're on again.
You broke my heart, Madam Chair.
I'm so.
You even wore a nice shirt today.
And this is donation for lunch.
Can I ask a question, Madam Chair?
Did we
I
adjourn?
don't know how true it is. I was told,
We need public input.
according to Mason's rules,
Carroll County.
it is improper
That's,
to
they came in after our budget was in.
at a committee meeting.
We made a
And since we are the executive committee,
Yep.
this is also a committee meeting. According to Mason's rules, you can't move the question at a committee meeting.
Yeah, they should put it in.
You're right.
They should put it in my Mason rules.
Yeah, they should put a $5,000.
I would have to look in my
because that's
Mason
what
I
it
was just told that by
Yeah, they should
Representative Baldessaro,
Yeah. They
so
should
if
put
you,
it in.
you know,
They should have at least something.
Most of those rules are set up for some logical reason. What are the logical reasons?
at a committee meeting, you're supposed to be debating something and coming up with an answer. It's not right to move the question.
No, she wouldn't have
So you
done it.
Like
still
Merrill
can vote
did
it
one.
down, you can
Is
still
that
vote
public
it down.
You and
There's no
Harry
public
did it one time. You made a
that
motion,
public
you guys
Is the
spoke,
meeting
and then
adjourned now?
moved the question, nobody else had a chance to speak.
Doesn't sound like something I'd do.
It's the meeting.
But now that you mention it, it's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till next week.
Sitting right where you were.
I like it.
Where's he living, Alton?
Yeah. I don't know, but to me, Representative McCarthy, it sounds like perhaps either you misinterpreted or Representative Baldessaro maybe confused the rules for the committee versus Masons.
Did we adjourn?
You know, like.
Yes, we are adjourned.
During our committee meetings.
Everybody agreed to that.
Nobody
agreed to say she come back.
And you can vote it down if you get enough people.
Well, I'm just saying that there's rules for the committees that
I think
leaders